Put down your tea and look closely. We are standing inside a besieged palace. It is chaotic, loud, and doomed. Smoke from the burning city outside is rolling into the dark, obscured corners of the chamber. Right in the middle is a massive, lavish bed draped in blindingly rich red fabric. Lying on that bed, draped in flowing white cloth and heavy gold jewelry, is a man. He has his arm propped up. He is casually watching the absolute slaughter of his entire household. Down in the left foreground, a muscular slave fights a panicked horse, actively driving a dagger into its chest. Just above that thrashing horse, a dark-skinned man has turned a blade on himself, driving it directly into his own chest. Over on the right, a man is on his knees behind a terrified woman, gripping her arm and holding a knife to her throat. There are 6 women here, mostly undressed, actively dying or waiting for the blade. A woman lies prone, already dead, sprawled right across the king's feet. It is a slaughterhouse. This is The Death of Sardanapalus. It's an enormous oil painting created by the French artist Eugène Delacroix, and he showed it to the world in 1827. It is famous. It is horrifying. But I have a question for you. It's the very reason you clicked on this video. Look closely at the weapons. Look at the bodies. Can you spot what is missing? Take a guess, because once you see it, you will never look at this painting the same way again. And to understand exactly why Delacroix left it out, we have to look at the man sitting on the bed. So, who exactly is this spectacularly unbothered bloke? Meet Sardanapalus. He was the last Assyrian king of Nineveh. The year is roughly 876 BCE, and things have gone terribly wrong for him. His palace has been under a grinding siege by an invading army for 2 straight years. The walls are breached. The enemy is literally at the gates. A normal king might surrender. A brave king might go down fighting. Sardanapalus chooses a third option. He orders his officers to drag everything he owns into his bedroom and destroy it right in front of him. We are talking about his wives, his pages, his concubines, his eunuchs, his favorite dogs, and even his horses. It is the ultimate catastrophic tantrum. Delacroix based this on a play written by Lord Byron in 1821, but he didn't just paint a polite summary. He built an absolute monstrosity of a canvas, a painting nearly 4 meters high and 5 meters wide. When unveiled at the Paris Salon in 1827, the art critics despised it. One critic literally called it the fanaticism of ugliness. Why? Because it broke every rule of traditional academic painting. Classical paintings were orderly, with subdued colours and rigid space. But here, the perspective of the bed is completely awkward, throwing the scale of the background figures entirely out of proportion. Critics stood in front of this 4 by 5 meter giant, complaining they couldn't penetrate the subject. One reviewer simply asked, "Where are we? On what ground is the scene set?" The composition is entirely subverted. The viewer's gaze is forced to wander endlessly without a single calming spot to rest. They thought Delacroix had made an error in painting, but he hadn't. He knew exactly what he was doing. And to prove it, we need to get uncomfortably close to the victims. Let's start in the foreground. Look at the absolute terror here. Delacroix uses thick, broad brushstrokes to create a deeply unsettling sense of movement. Look at the dark-skinned slave on the left. He pulls back hard on the horse's reins, fighting the animal's panicked strength while plunging a dagger directly into its chest. The horse is rearing up. It isn't crippled by the blow, it is thrashing with sheer, raw energy. Move your eyes right. Look at the captive woman. The man behind her has a brutal grip on her arm. Her head is tossed back, her mouth is open, gasping for air. Her body has gone limp, melting under the threat of the blade near her neck. Now look at the sheer scale of the waste surrounding them. Scattered amongst the carnage, the floor is littered with golden urns, rich, jewelled scabbards, and priceless trinkets. Massive golden elephant heads anchor the base of the bed. Look at the woman draped face down across the lower half of the bed. Reviewers in the 1800s couldn't stop looking at her. One anonymous writer called her, "This woman viewed from the back who dies on the bed of the tyrant." Her pale limbs strike a sharp contrast against the glaring red of the bed. Now, look up. Right in the upper center, hidden in the shadows. Do you see her? That is Aisha. She is hanging by a noose. Above all this frantic, sweaty violence, she is dangling completely motionless. And then, the king, Sardanapalus. He is leaning on his elbow, surrounded by those golden elephant heads and luxury. He is watching his own empire get butchered. His face? Totally blank. He has a disinterested eye overseeing the chaos. Some historians argue he is an effeminate coward. Others say he is a romantic hero, bravely facing failure without a flinch. He simply watches the carnage, passively participating in a gruesome transition from life to death. He watches the harem women getting absolutely butchered. He watches the horse get stabbed. We have daggers plunging into chests, hanging, self-inflicted sword wounds. Have you spotted what's missing yet? Look at the horse again. The dagger is buried in its chest. Do you see the red tassels falling from its bridle? Delacroix cleverly painted those tassels a vivid blood-red colour, placing them exactly where the wound is. They act as a symbol for the hot. Look at the blade. Look at the horse's coat. There is no blood. Look at the woman at the right. The dagger is at her throat, but she is perfectly clean. Look at the dark-skinned man in the lower left foreground, just above the rearing horse, actively driving a sword into his own chest. No blood. Look at the dead woman, sprawled completely prone across the foot of the king's bed. Her pale, creamy skin is totally exposed. She is lifeless in the middle of an absolute massacre. Yet she is completely pristine. Not a smudge, not a smear. In fact, scan this entire 4x5 meter canvas of slaughter. In a scene defined entirely by mass murder, nobody is actually bleeding. Why? Did Delacroix just forget? Was he squeamish? Not at all. This was a deliberate, utterly chilling psychological choice. Delacroix wasn't interested in the physical mess of death. The representation of the actual dead body wasn't his central concern. He was obsessed with the tension of the moment right before. He wanted to paint the terrifying limbo between life and death. By removing the gore, Delacroix forces us to focus entirely on the actions and gestures. We don't look at bleeding wounds. We look at the bulging muscles of the killers. We look at the limp, resigned bodies of the victims. We look at the panic of the horse. Delacroix favored impending death over motionless corpses. Take Aisha. Hanging cuts off oxygen to the brain, leading to a slow sequence of organs failing. She might not even be completely dead yet. She is trapped in that transition. By scrubbing the blood, Delacroix turned a slaughter into an ambiguous nightmare. The victims are trapped in the agonizing act of dying, forever. And we are trapped in that room with them, unable to rest our eyes, unable to escape. Just like Sardanapalus, watching it all, waiting for the end. Now, speaking of magnificent, psychologically scarring bedroom decor, wouldn't this look absolutely smashing above your sofa? If you want to unnerve your houseguests and prove you have impeccably morbid taste, head over to viewcrypt.com. They do stunning, high-quality reproductions of this exact painting, and frankly, countless other masterpieces. You don't even have to order a massacre. They have plenty of nice landscapes too. But where is the fun in that? Get your own Sardanapalus at viewcrypt.com today.